Calling like it is, Dave Scholler. Got 15 minutes till tip off. We'll go into tip off in the second round. A little NBA playoff preview. First round's over. Second round, sweet PBS music playing in the background there. Always the last. We're going to get away from that for a sec. First, we'll wrap up the first round, and then we'll talk a little about the second round. So many great storylines to talk about. As you see the board up here on the left here, little bracket. Not as exciting as the March Madness bracket, but still very exciting nonetheless. My hair's all over the place. I'm watching this crazy playoff game. Just got back from open gym. 19 guys there today. Great commitment on a Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. So we're going to do this right before part two, if you look at it. But wrapping up those series, New Orleans really matured a lot, although let's be honest, they could have been out if Booker doesn't hurt his hamstring. Chris Paul stepped up with a masterpiece, 14 of 14 in the game. But again, it's obvious that Booker is the key man in that series since they were 17-4 this year without Chris Paul, despite the narrative that many people want to talk. And of course, Booker obviously owes Chris Paul some money to say he's the greatest point guard of all time. Almost fell off the couch during that one, but hey, whatever. I guess we're in the moment. Booker probably didn't see Magic play. Obviously, he's not old enough. Didn't see Isaiah Thomas play, Walt Frazier, Jerry West, people of that nature, or Steph Curry, obviously. But hey, whatever, we'll go with it. But New Orleans did some good things. What are you going to do with Zion, though? This is the key. Zion, he says he wants to sign the max deal. If you're New Orleans, you re-sign Zion to the max? I don't know, man. I got to get a really good doctor. I need about 10 opinions before I sign this guy. And his commitment to his fitness, obviously, he does look bigger. I'm not on the scale with him, but he does look bigger. Got to have a guy that's committed. You want that max deal. And I know in NBA, we just throw money around. Phoenix has great depth. They play well together. Booker looked really healthy the other night to come back in your first game back and play 32 minutes. It says a lot. So obviously he looks really healthy, but Ingram really stepped up in the playoffs and so did Alvarado. And there's a good feel right now in the NBA, guys who are undrafted and not paid attention to that have had great careers and guys that were drafted late, like a Brunson and an Alvarado. It's so great to see these guys step up, and it's really good to see Ingram step up. LeBron had him banished because I guess, he didn't want a guy who's 6'11" who could get off a shot whenever he wanted, but whatever. So they banished him. He really stepped up, hoping that New Orleans can, maybe pick up a tough post presence if we're not going to re-sign Zion. I tell you what, they're on the right track without him. They got some great depth. He had some great depth with Jones and whatnot. So I don't know. McCollum really did hurt him in game 6, though. McCollum plays just a decent game. They win game 6, but he didn't. He got in foul trouble, and then he missed some key shots, a couple of air balls down a stretch. He was great all series. He was a great pickup at the deadline, but in game 6, he didn't get it done for him. And, that happens sometimes. But I tell you, I wouldn't necessarily be out there to sign Zion. I'd go get a guy like Collins, save the money if he's available. I think he is available. He's the last year of his contract with the Hawks. I go get a guy like that, get a post presence, and go from there. I think that team is on the move, and I like the coach. It's been fun. Dallas, Utah. Donovan Mitchell thinks he's an A+ player when he's an A player. Big problem here. He's shooting 29% from 3 for the year. Doesn't get it done, and then he's too busy taking his own threes, but he's not a great 3-point shooter. Just no way you slice it. And again, people on the internet will now go, "Oh, you're hating on him." No, telling a fact is not hating. It's a fact. If you don't like a fact, turn it off. Go to one of these other shows that blows and doesn't tell you what's going to happen before it happens, like I have. So Utah did not get it done. I think that team is good enough to get it done, but Donovan needs to pull it back in a little bit. Share the rock. They definitely missed Joe Ingles a little bit. Need that secondary scorer. And we'll get to Dallas going forward in a minute. Golden State, Denver, Joker working by himself. No Porter, no Murray. If you're going to let Draymond play defense like that, I think the Warriors can win it all. If you're not going to call anything, I think it could be done. If you're not going to punish Draymond by putting him on the block instead of the high post, the Warriors and Poole has just stepped up in an enormous way. They didn't even have a healthy Iggy, and they're still playing well. Looney, I love. They're playing good ball. Wiggins, I'm so happy for Wiggins. So, they portrayed him as the next LeBron, and it was too much too soon. And now he's had a solid year and a solid career, and that's what you can hope for. You don't have to be the greatest player ever just because they say you're the greatest player of the media. It doesn't mean you have to be. But really happy for Wiggins, and Golden State just took out Denver like they should. Minnesota Memphis was a series I told you they should have put in prime time, and they did put in prime time. So again, here on Telling Like It Is, we're right before everybody else. And the thing is, Memphis, Minnesota belonged in prime time. It's a very entertaining series. Minnesota had 3 fourth quarter 10-point leads or more and lost all 3 of those games. Had a 20-point lead twice in the same game, and lost. I guess that happens these days. So just crazy stuff. But hey, fun stuff nonetheless. Great to see that series. Love Edwards, love him a lot. Pat Bev, I was a little disappointed in that series. Karl-Anthony Towns had some good moments, but Brooks and Ja and all the guys just stepped up. And Bane, oh my goodness, is there a better player out of nowhere, most improved player than Bane? I don't know. I know it can't be most improved yet, but geez, is there a guy that's turned more heads in the NBA than Bane? Probably not. So Memphis a 2-7 seed, but Minnesota's better than a 7 seed. We all know it. Karl-Anthony Towns takes a bad rap, but I think, like I said last week, Karl-Anthony Towns is who he is. He's not a top 10 player in the league, but he's a very good player in the league. And just by criticizing him more is not going to make him that player. I think he just has slow feet. He's not a great athlete, but he's a very good player. Very good. Is he great? Nope. But Karl-Anthony Towns has got definitely some great qualities, and he can do some great things for you. Like I said, do I think he's an all-time great? No. Does he like Giannis or LeBron? No. Okay, KD? No, he's not. Although KD struggled, which we're going to get to in a minute. Miami versus Atlanta. Really nervous about Miami's health, though. Jimmy Butler, I know he missed a game. I probably just figured they could win without him. And then, of course, Kyle Lowry. I think if they're healthy and getting Oladipo, I think this team could win it all. And Atlanta, obviously, Trae Young did win a game with about 4.4 seconds left for them, but he struggled this series. Miami's the best defensive team in the NBA. Great stuff right there. And you saw that Miami just took him out. Miami has a lot of depth, and Oladipo finishing off that game after a long knee injury, tough road back. Really proud of that. Atlanta's got to get better. Like we said early before the playoffs started, Atlanta skipped steps last year, and people will call this a disappointing season. No, I'd call this about where they were even last year. It's just that last year that a new kid on the block, he played the Knicks. Wasn't a good matchup for the Knicks, obviously. And they come out and they win, and then they take out Philadelphia. But again, it's hard to skip steps. You don't get to start right back in the Eastern Conference Finals when the next season begins. And so people will say Atlanta's disappointing. What's disappointing is the 8 seed. That's disappointing. I don't think the Hawks themselves are disappointing. Again, a lot of injuries. I think Capella and Collins would have made a big difference in this series, but they just didn't get the chance. Collins, I really like. Capella, you could see that DeAndre Hunter is going to be a big time player. They got some big time issues on that squad, though. They need to get another scorer. They got some guys who can really bang it, but they need some guys who can create their own shot a little bit more. And once they do that, I think that team is headed for some even bigger things. I think they're solid. I think they're a good team. They got spirit, and they got that one guy at the end of the game. I know he had a rough series, but he's still a great player. But between him and Ja, they basically both getting their bodies beat to hell, and neither of them are strong-looking guys. But the thing is, you're going to keep going to the basket like that, you're getting punished. I mean, Ja's on the ground every 5 minutes, and Trae also. I mean, they're gonna learn what Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas finally figured out, is that every time I go in, I'm going to wind up on my head. And eventually, you got to get that pull-up game. Trae already has it. Ja's definitely got to get a better pull-up game so he can preserve his body. If you look around these great point guards, they're only, it's very hard to stay healthy all the years. You're either in the crouch guarding the ball, or someone's in the crouch guarding you. The pressure is always on you. You're never allowed to run up and down the court unmolested. You're always basically being pushed or prodded or pulled, and their bodies just never fully recover. And that's why when Chris Paul plays well like that, it's an amazing thing, because guards, their bodies and legs just burn out quicker, carrying too much of the load. Milwaukee, the first 2 games looked like crap for Chicago, and then all of a sudden they beat the hell out of Chicago. Grayson Allen getting it done right there. Everybody can love to hate him, but Grayson Allen stepped up big. He's always had a body, even his freshman year of college when he won a championship, a great play in the championship game. His body has always been ready. He stepped up. Milwaukee just crushed him. Chicago showed no heart in the last 3 games on the defensive end of the floor, which is very surprising, because Billy Donovan was all about heart as a player. So that was a little disappointing. But Milwaukee, Giannis is just the best player in the NBA right now. It is no way about it. And the best thing about him is there's just no drama with this man. He's an old-time basketball player. It's exciting. Then, of course, here in New York, Nets versus the Boston Celtics. Nets lost 4-0 and easily could have won 4-0. But of course, here in New York, we have fans who overreact to everything because that's what New York does. This always reminds me of the play in the Bills Giants Super Bowl. So if Scotty Norwood kicks the ball 2 feet left, is Bill Parcells a worse coach because he has 1 Super Bowl? Well, in people's eyes, he is, because people don't understand the game. But at that point, Bill Parcells already did everything he's going to do in that game. What he's done now is over. Now it's up to Scott Norwood. It has nothing to do with Bill Parcells. That game's over. But the ball goes 3 feet to the left or 3 feet to the right, makes Bill Parcells a better coach? No, it doesn't. He's already finished what he's done for that game. Now it's up to Scott Norwood. But again, that's why the best quote in sports history is from Friday Night Lights. The only difference between winning and losing is how the outside world treats you. Think about that game. Think about Scott Norwood's kick staying wide right. If it goes 3 feet to the left, he's only got 1 title, and people consider him a lot less of a good coach, when really it has nothing to do with him. It's out of his hands at that point. Same thing here. The Nets have leads in all 4 games down the stretch. Now, will they panic and break it all up? Yeah, there's definitely some pieces there. They need Steve Nash look lost. He doesn't run any offense. 2, they don't have any toughness. But you got to be careful. And are you going to give Kyrie a full extension max? No freaking way am I giving him a max extension. Holy crap. This guy, like I said, I give him credit for not wanting to get the vaccine. I'll back anybody on what your stance is for the vaccine. But then you can't go up in the press conference and say, we haven't had time to play together. Well, that was on you that you didn't have time to play together. I mean, people are just so unaware today. It's incredible how not self-aware people are today, and how self-absorbed they are. They don't even realize like what they're saying and how they present themselves and how they come off. But if I'm Brooklyn, I don't panic and break it up too much. You do need some post presence in there. I didn't think they used Drummond enough. I didn't think they'd used Blake Griffin enough. I didn't think they used Patty Mills enough. I think you make your own bench, and Steve Nash did not do a good job of that. Kevin Durant led the first round in minutes played a game, 44. You cannot do that. You cannot have him playing 44 minutes a night. Plus, you saw the complete player that Tatum is. And the other thing you saw about Durant is he's not a physical presence. So he can't get a basket by being physical. And that's the difference between him and LeBron. LeBron can, if LeBron's not shooting well, he's going to go 3. Durant can't do that. That's a big difference. Durant got bodied up by Tatum, couldn't create space. Tatum 6'8", LeBron 6'11". But you know what? He couldn't get physical with him and get his own space. And I think that that's a good roadmap going forward for people who do have that matchup. Now, most teams don't have Tatum, but I'm just saying, I think they really did a good job on him. Marcus Smart did a great job. I think it was just a lot of fun, that series. But, you know, from a New Yorker standpoint, people just flipping out, you know, and just losing their minds. But so when we look here going forward, obviously here's the stats on the screen of the different situations of who's, you know, 31 Joker. Butler had a great series and people of that nature. But just such a good job. Bruce Brown did a great job for Brooklyn, by the way. And Bogey played a real good situation for Atlanta. But you know, what are you going to do? Those series are over now as we move forward. Gary Trent Jr. also really stepped forward. I thought he did a good job. But now moving forward, let's take a look at this screen again here. Now we got Phoenix, Dallas. Really interesting series here. To me, if Dallas wants to play Boban once in a while, I think they can match up with DeAndre Ayton. It's a real gamble here. And again, it's all about matchups. Are you going to play Ayton with a smaller guy? If you are, basically you're saying is, well, I don't think Phoenix is patient enough to dump the ball in there all day long, because Andre Ayton has shown himself to be an excellent player, and he has really developed over time, which is why the Suns have been successful, by the way. They've let their guys develop. When Booker got there, they sucked. They let him keep playing. Same with Ayton. They let him keep playing. Then you had an old pro in Paul. You get guys like Bridges, and all of a sudden, but they did it through the draft. And that's what's fun about that team. And Jackson also, they did a great job with the draft. But what is Dallas going to do with Andre Ayton? Does Dallas then say, all right, we're going to play small, and DeAndre Ayton's going to have to cover somebody? Or do you play big and put Boban in there? Because Max Kleber, I just don't think it's going to happen. You know, your leading rebounder is a guard, Luka Doncic. I mean, I'm not sure that this is going to be a instructional video on how to rebound this series. I don't think either team is really good on the board. The thing is, this is going to be a big strategy session here. What do you do? Is Jason Kidd say, all right, I'm going to bring Boban in the game, got to bring some longer guys in the game. We're going to have to cover him. We're going to cover him with a smaller guy, because right now Ayton is loving that free throw line area. You could cover him with a small guy and see if he takes the bait. If he takes the bait and stays in the free throw line area, you can continue to do it. But if he takes you down to the block, you're going to be in trouble. Who's covering Luka? I mean, Chris Paul's not covering him. He's too big for him. They don't want him to pick up fouls. I mean, this is going to be interesting. They got enough guys. They got Jackson, you got Bridges, you got enough guys that you can do this with. So I think it's going to be a tough series I think Phoenix is the better team and Booker healthy. I think they're definitely a better team, but Dallas presents some interesting situations here. And Brunson, the development of Brunson changes this series. Now you have a secondary scorer. So we'll see. Finney Smith going to come up to the page. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is going to be a fascinating series. And when you look here, like I said, Luka had a nice playoff series. Jalen Brunson 27.8 in the playoff series. Just fascinating stuff right here that Brunson stepped up like this. Good for him. It's great to see guys like that. Dinwiddie 15.3 a game. That was really nice. But again, what are you going to do here? What is Dallas going to do? Is Dallas going to find a way to like chip away here and find a way to guard him with multiple smaller bodies, or are they going to make a commitment? And Phoenix with a healthy Booker, they're a well-oiled machine. What are they going to do? This is going to be fascinating stuff. And like I said, Booker looked great when he came back to the night. Really, really, really proud of him. Chris Paul looked obviously very good. He had that 14 for 14 game. Excellent job for him. And then DeAndre Ayton averaged 20 points a game for a young center like that to do that. And then Mikal Bridges had a great game the other night, 17.3 he averaged in the playoffs. This is all fantastic stuff. So that series, I would say Phoenix in 6. Of course, we got to watch the health of any player in this situation, but especially Booker. We got to watch his health. I mean, I would say Phoenix in 6, but who knows? Maybe Phoenix in 5 even. We'll see. Then we move on to that next series, Golden State, Memphis. Fascinating series. If Draymond Green is going to be allowed to play defense the way he plays defense. Obviously, there's no Adams today. We'll have to see. Adams is in protocol. I think Adams could definitely hurt Green on the low block. They have some history together. But are you going to play Adams? I think you could guard Green with Adams because I don't think Green does enough on offense. He'll run your offense away, but he's not a threat to score himself. Adams could slack off and clog up the middle, make Draymond beat me. This is something I've talked about forever. I would guard everybody else and leave him open. See if you can get in his head, a little reverse psychology on Draymond. But the thing is, this is going to be a fantastic series. The Memphis Grizzlies have not shown patience, though. Ja is not shooting the ball well. And Memphis plays with the fastest pace. Are you going to run up and down with Golden State? Well, if that's what the one that brung you got to dance with the one that brung you. But if you're going to run up and down with Golden State, the swings and the levels of swings with the threes and everything in this series is going to be wild. That could be 25-point deficits come back on multiple times in the series. However, Memphis did not shoot the three well. This is the first time they're in the deep end of the pool. They have a little edge on the Warriors in the last couple of years, but you know what? This is a different story now. Poole stepping up like that. I mean, this is a different series. And like I said, who's Draymond going to cover? Well, the other thing that's key for Memphis, Jackson cannot stay on the floor. This guy is having great success when he's on the floor, but this man averages 5 fouls a game. He cannot stay on the floor. So between Golden State and Memphis, this is going to be quite the battle here. Desmond Bane, 23.5 a game. I mean, is Clay going to guard him? I guess you put Clay back on. Is Clay fully healthy? We don't know that. He looks it. But this is going to be interesting. Ja Morant, 21.5 a game. Poole, 21 points a game. Just impressive stuff here. Dylan Brooks, 16.5. Brandon Clark has really stepped up. If you're going to let Draymond get in Clark's head and push him around like that, this could be interesting. But I do think Adams could help in this series. With Looney's in the game, Adams could definitely get in there. We're not going to have Adams today, unfortunately. But when Adams is in that game and Looney's in the game, Adams could definitely be a factor. He's a good player. He's very underrated in this league. Andrew Wiggins, 15 points a game in the series, last series. So that was exciting. Just beautiful stuff to watch. Curry, obviously 28, shooting 50%, which is amazing. Going to be a fun series, but really, and this is what I always argue with my high school players. I tell them, say, well, you never saw Michael Jordan play. So, what the hell are you talking about? And they say, well, it doesn't matter if I saw him play. And I always use this example. You know why it does matter? In 15 years, when some kid tells you that Draymond Green's numbers are 8 points a game for his career and he sucks, how can you measure Draymond Green by points a game? Yeah, sure, he's got 8, 7, and 7. And some kid will look at that and go, he sucks. If you watch Draymond Green every night, you know the impact he has on his game. It is amazing to watch how much stuff he does. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff he does. He's one of the best help defenders of all time, if not the best help defender of all time. He's fantastic. He does a lot of things. He can run your offense for you. Now, is Draymond be the same on any other team when he doesn't have 2 of the best 3 shooters of all time on the same squad with him? Probably not, but he's not on any other team. He's on this team, and that's why it's a great fit. But again, if you're going to let him frustrate some of the players from Memphis, all right, whether it be, chip shot and Bane, because, we know he loves to do that, or hitting Morant when he comes through the lane, Draymond is the master of all this stuff. Brooks is definitely got a temper. Brandon Clark, like I said, has been awesome. This is going to be so much fun today at 3:30. I cannot wait to see this. It's going to be a fantastic series. And people killing Memphis and Minnesota for the swings, but they played up tempo. That's where they played all year. People bitching about the quality of the play. I'll tell you what, game one of Brooklyn Boston was like pickup run at LA Fitness. It was awful. I thought the Memphis Minnesota series was fun to watch. Sure, the leads and the swings, but with today's 3 leads and swings are bigger than ever before. Anyway, Miami, Philadelphia, this is the series I believe I'm most sure about. Not just because Embiid's hurt, but I just think I don't see any way Philadelphia beats them. Harden does not look like the same player. Maxey, if he's going to be one of the great all-time second-year players in the history of the league, yeah, maybe. But I tell you what, Harden just does not look the same. This is why you got to have a very good backup center if you're Philadelphia, and GM didn't do that. He didn't take care of business. And you know that Joel's injury history is tough sometimes. Yeah, I feel bad for Joel Embiid. He's had a great year. He showed himself to be a champion. And unfortunately, people getting on Doc Rivers for having him out there. You're up 29 with 5 minutes left. I have a rule: 2 with 20, 3 with 30, 4 with 40, 5 with 50. Or if the other team waves the white flag. That's my rule. And I've learned that from some great coaches who are a lot older than I am, who won a lot more games. I can't blame Doc, but anybody who's blaming him has never coached or competed a day in their life. He's just trying to wrap up a series. It's a freak play. It's one of those situations. What happens if Joel had 49 points and he took him out in that situation? You'd be bitching that you didn't let him get 50. So you can't have it both ways. Again, here I'm telling you like it is, we have intimate understanding of these things as we coach. And we're not a homer. So I really feel Miami's going to win the series, whether they had a healthy Joel Embiid or not. But we'll see. Sometimes strange narratives come up in series and correct things. I just think that obviously Kyle Lowry and Jimmy Butler's health. They really need Lowry a lot more than you think. If Lowry's not healthy, Philadelphia might have a chance to win this thing. But I really believe in Miami here. I believe in them in the series. It should be a fun series to watch. Starts tomorrow. We want Joel Embiid to get back, wear that mask, get some concussion protocol, and we'll have a great time. We're looking forward to that. Milwaukee, Boston, my favorite series of the next set, because there's no what I like to call bitches in this round. I mean bitches by people who whine all the time about stuff. These guys are just pros. Both teams just come out there and they play hard. You don't have anybody out there who's going to complain, whine, take days off, chill out. There's all team players on these teams. It's very exciting to watch. Milwaukee's a well-oiled machine. Watching Giannis is a privilege. It's already a top 2 or 3 power forward in the history of the game in my book. He's already there. People talk about the all-time greats, playing right now, and sometimes they leave him out because he's not out there promoting himself. He's awesome. Love Giannis. Does so many things on the floor for you. It's going to be dependent on how they call the series. Who is going to guard Giannis? Who's going to want to pick up those cheap fouls? That's the tough part here for Boston. We'll see about Boston's depth. I just don't know if they're going to be deep enough. However, Milwaukee doesn't have Middleton. I wish all these teams are healthy. And this is why I said last week, I'm telling like it is, that we should have a 70-game NBA season and no back-to-backs, because the quality of the product has suffered. And I'm telling you, tanking it during the regular season, having load management and everything else, and then coming out in the playoffs and trying to flip a switch doesn't work. How's that load management working out, Pop? We got less injuries and more. We have more than we've ever had before. So again, it's like the baseball pitchers. They throw less innings to get more injuries. Well, we could be a realist, or we can call them soft. Well, the problem is you got to be both. You got to call them soft and then also be a realist and say, well, let's fix it. That's why in baseball, we should keep the doubleheader 7-inning thing. And we should keep the ghost runner on second base because it saves innings on pitchers who are always getting hurt. These guys wake up in the morning and pull a hamstring. Basketball, same thing. We're missing Middleton here. That's a big, big problem. Grayson Allen has stepped up, but how long are they going to do that for? Think about Milwaukee is such a well-oiled team. Lopez is back and healthy for the first time really all year. You really can't go by the season series because they played Milwaukee 3 times. Milwaukee played Boston 3 times before Christmas. And the thing is, before Christmas, they did not have Lopez. And actually, Boston was struggling like crazy. So that's the situation. So here we are, Boston, Milwaukee. Should be a blast. Looking forward to that. I still think Milwaukee's going to win, although without Middleton, I'm not sure. This is going to be great. But anyway, fun stuff here on Telling Like It Is. Really looking forward to wrapping up this NBA playoff second round. It's already started. I don't know what the score is yet. We got Milwaukee and Boston playing already. It's 1:10 here on the East Coast. We're ready to play. Charlie steps into the office for the program. Charlie wants a raise. Get 3 or 4 biscuits for his job here. Hello, Charlie. How are you, buddy? Who you got today in the Bucks Celtics? And then Rosie follows him up. Very exciting stuff right now. So that's it on Telling It Like It Is. Check out our A's update coming out tomorrow. A's 2 tough losses over the weekend to a team that lost 7 in a row on the road, and that's not good for the A's. But hey, we're fighting it the best we can. The thing is, we got to keep working. The A's, if we can hang around 500, that'd be a hell of a year. So anyway, Telling It Like It Is, NBA playoffs, second round, going to be a lot of fun. Really looking forward to it. Should be something that we're all going to really, really, really enjoy. I want to say goodbye. Sunday, start watching those games. Get on that Bucks Boston game. Get on that Golden State Memphis game. Take care.